5 years ago this week, the COVID-19 pandemic had caused chaos around the world, and former Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf made decisions that shaped the course of the state in years to come. Fox 43's James Corrigan talked with the former governor to reflect on the pandemic and decisions he made to help guide Pennsylvania through it.
5 years ago, Pennsylvania, the nation, and the world were paralyzed in the face of the unknown as COVID-19 made its way to the Commonwealth. More than 34,000 Pennsylvanians died in 2020 and 2021 combined, leading then-Governor Tom Wolf to take actions he would have never dreamed of.
I tried to do the right thing without a playbook. I mean, there were really no instructions included in this.
The former governor and longtime York County resident sat down with Fox 43 to reflect on his time governing through the pandemic, including in early March of 2020, when it became clear COVID was no ordinary virus.
The big thing was the overwhelmed healthcare system in Italy that we saw pictures of. And then we saw it in New York and New Jersey. And we just couldn't afford to have that happen in Pennsylvania.
As cases rose nationwide and hospitals reached overload in neighboring states, Governor Wolf made the decision on March 19th to shut down all non-essential businesses in the Commonwealth and to order residents of its largest counties to shelter in place, with that order expanded the following month to all of Pennsylvania.
But you know, before we can save livelihoods, we must save lives. And so I will be working with local officials, permitting authorities, and others to enforce mandatory closures.
I think we were all worried. We were all very concerned, scared. We couldn't get basic equipment. You'll recall the personal protective equipment wasn't available in the United States. I mean, everybody was competing against everybody else. That was our priority, to try to make sure that the healthcare system could stand up.
It was a measure taken by nearly every governor in the nation at first, but restrictions in Pennsylvania continued in some form into 2021. It led to the closing of schools for the remainder of 2020 into part of 2021, with the mental health effects of being isolated still present among students.
The children were generally not as susceptible. The problem was the teachers were. Threading that needle was the challenge. If we had opened the schools and said they're not going to close, we might have had problems. I think we would have, and some states did do that and tried that. Had problems getting the teachers to show up for work. We can see fairly clearly the consequences of the pandemic in so many different ways, and that's one of them. What we might have done differently about it, that's a question that I think we'll be asking forever.
Questions on what could have been different still linger with the former governor.
If you could go back and do anything differently, is there anything that you would do differently?
I'm not sure. I just don't know. I know that there are things that could have been done differently. I'm just not sure what we might have done to actually make things better, faster.
When you look back at that time, 5 years on, do you have any regrets?
People died, and I regret that. And I will, second guess myself to the day I die as to whether I could have done something different or better.
What do you think are the main lessons that we've learned from that period?
Well, I think there are a couple of things we've learned. One is to do everything you can to keep your healthcare system from being overwhelmed. Second, I think we need to figure out how to make sure that our children aren't cheated of the education we need them to have. But the third thing is, I don't think I'd wish a crisis like this on anybody in any position of leadership.
James Corrigan, Fox 43 News.